The bank statement trembles in my hands. $42,000. My vision blurs as I read the number again, wondering if grief has finally broken my grip on reality. But Noth's statement remains steady, the numbers unchanging, while my grandmother's handwritten letter flutters to the floor. A tear slides down my cheek, catching the amber rays of evening sunlight streaming through my apartment windows. Behind me, Grandma Evelyn's antique clock ticks away the seconds, each sound as familiar as her voice had been. I bend down to retrieve her letter, my fingers tracing over the words I've already memorized. Use this to build something for yourself, and don't let anyone take it from you. The paper still smells faintly of her house lemon furniture polish and fresh coffee. My throat tightens as memories flood back. Grandma Evelyn at her kitchen table, pencil in hand, meticulously balancing her checkbook while explaining to me why every penny mattered. Your grandfather died young, Monica, she'd say, her voice steady, but her eyes distant. I raised 3 children on a bookkeeper's salary, but I did it without owing anyone a dime. My gaze drifts to the glass jar on my bookshelf, still holding the pennies we collected together during my childhood visits. She'd turn it into a game hunting for dropped coins in parking lots, checking payphone slots, saving the copper pieces from my allowance. Money isn't about wealth, she'd tell me. It's about freedom. Freedom. I taste the word as I look around my modest one-bedroom apartment. The community center where I work part-time barely covers my bills while I finish graduate school. My 10-year-old Honda needs repairs. Student loans loom. But now, my hand shakes as I open my journal, carefully folding Grandma's letter between its pages. The list of practical uses for the money flows from my pen. Finish my degree, fix the car, start an emergency fund. Smart choices, safe choices, Grandma Evelyn choices. A key turns in the lock and Derek bursts in, carrying takeout bags that fill the apartment with the smell of garlic and soy sauce. Sorry I'm late, babe. The coffee shop was slammed. He sets the food down and notices my red eyes. Hey, what's wrong? I got a letter from the estate lawyer. I swallow hard. Grandma left me some money. That's amazing. His arms wrap around me, warm and familiar. How much? $42,000. Derek's body stiffens for a fraction of a second. Most people wouldn't notice, but 3 years together have taught me his tells. He pulls back, his expression shifting so subtly that I almost miss it, a quick calculation behind his eyes, a slight lifting of his chin. Babe, this changes everything for us. His voice holds an unfamiliar edge of excitement. We could finally... A knock at the door interrupts him. Mrs. Henderson from next door, probably looking for her cat again, but for once, I'm grateful for the interruption. Something in Derek's tone has set off a warning bell deep in my gut, a sensation I push away as quickly as it comes. The next week passes in a blur of classes and work. Then Derek shows up at my door on Tuesday afternoon, when he should be starting his shift at the coffee shop. I quit my job, he announces, grinning as he flops onto my couch. Now we can finally focus on us without stressing about bills. The words hit me like ice water. What do you mean we? Come on, Monica. He sits up, his tone sharpening. The inheritance. It's perfect timing, we can use it to really build something together. This is my inheritance, I say, the words coming out smaller than I intend. From my grandmother. After 3 years together, you're still thinking like you're single? His voice rises, unfamiliar and ugly. Real couples share everything, or is that not what we are? I stand frozen in my living room, really seeing him for the first time. The charming barista with big dreams has vanished, replaced by someone I don't recognize. Someone who's been here all along, waiting for his moment. That night, after Derek storms out, I sit cross-legged on my bed surrounded by old photographs. Grandma Evelyn smiles up at me from a faded Polaroid, her eyes sharp and knowing. I remember her words from my college graduation. Pay attention to how people act when they think they have power over you. That's when they show you who they really are. My phone buzzes with a text from Derek. I'm sorry if I came on too strong. You know I only want what's best for us, but you're being selfish right now. The words blur on the screen as another memory surfaces, Grandma Evelyn teaching me to play poker, her face serious as she dealt the cards. Sometimes, honey, the best way to see someone's true character is to give them exactly what they want and watch what they do with it. I set the phone down, my mind already forming a plan. The next test will hurt, but it will show me everything I need to know. I rehearsed the words quietly in the darkness of my bedroom, my voice barely a whisper. Derek, I need to tell you something about the money. Behind me, Grandma's clock chimes 10 times, each note as clear as a warning bell. The next morning, the phone rests on my coffee table, its screen glowing with the recording app's interface. In the kitchen, water drips steadily from the fauceta rhythm that matches my pulse. My fingers hover over state recording laws on my laptop screen while Denise perches on my old armchair picking at a loose thread on the cushion. Monica. Her voice carries the weight of 20 years of friendship. Are you sure you want to know? The late afternoon sun slants through my windows, casting long shadows across the hardwood floor. My grandmother's clock ticks away the minutes until Derek arrives. I need to see who he really is. The words come out stronger than I feel. Before, my throat closes around the rest of the sentence. Denise nods, understanding what I can't say. Before the money changes everything, before I let someone else make decisions about my future, before I dishonor what Grandma Evelyn trusted me to protect. I'll be at Anthony's coffee shop down the street. She squeezes my shoulder. Call if you need me. The door clicks shut behind her. I check the phone's position one last time, angling it just right to catch every word. 3 practice runs have taught me exactly where to stand, how to move, what to say. My stomach knots as I rehearse the story again. A key scrapes in the lock. Derek strides in wearing his favorite leather jacket, the one he bought after quitting his job. His smile falters when he sees my face. Babe, what's wrong? I wrap my arms around my middle, shoulders curving inward. I need to tell you something. He drops onto the couch, manspreading across the cushions. You look terrible. Did something happen? The script I've practiced blurs in my mind. I sink into the armchair across from him, gripping the worn fabric. I made a terrible investment. His eyebrows shoot up. What? The money. My voice cracks. It's gone, all of it. Silence fills the room like smoke. Derek's face cycles through expressions: disbelief, confusion, dawning comprehension. His jaw tightens. What do you mean, gone? Each word drops like a stone. I trusted someone I shouldn't have. The lie tastes bitter. They promised huge returns. How much? His knuckles whiten against his thighs. Everything. I study the floor, the whole inheritance. The silence stretches. When I look up, disgust twists his features into something ugly and familiar. A mask has dropped, revealing what lived beneath all along. So you're broke. His laugh holds no humor. Great. Don't expect me to carry this relationship. My heart pounds against my ribs, but I keep my voice steady. What do you mean? He stands, pacing like a caged animal. You're just a part-time nonprofit worker with student loans. I stayed because I thought we had a future. Now what? I'm supposed to support you? I never asked you to. I already told Mike and Jason about our windfall. His voice rises. We had plans, but you couldn't even manage basic investing without screwing it up. Each word lands like a slap, but I hold still, letting the phone capture everything. You're not wife material, he spits the words. You're selfish and irresponsible. I wasted 3 years on someone who can't even. Please leave. My voice comes out quiet but firm. He blinks, thrown off script. What? Get out. I stand, pointing to the door. Now. The slam reverberates through my bones. I count to 60, making sure he's gone before retrieving my phone. My hands shake as I stop the recording. The playback catches everything I missed in the moment. The calculated pauses, the twisted logic, the casual cruelty. An hour later, my screen lights up with texts. Jason, how could you blow all that money? Mike, Derek told us everything, real classy. Sarah, rain check on Saturday, not feeling well. 3 years of friendships dissolve in minutes. The betrayal spreads like ink in water, staining everything it touches. My phone buzzes again, Denise. I saw him furious from the coffee shop. You okay? No. The truth comes easier now, but I will be. That night, I sit cross-legged on my bed, surrounded by the evidence of my life before Derek. Old photos, birthday cards, The penny jar from my childhood. Grandma's letter rests in my lap, her words sharp and clear. Don't let anyone take it from you. The hardware store receipt on my nightstand shows my first act of reclamation: new locks for every door. My social media accounts display cheerful taking a break messages. Derek's number joins 24 others on my blocked list. The clock strikes midnight. Each chime rings like a verdict, like freedom, like proof that sometimes losing everything means finding what matters most. I smooth Grandma's letter and whisper into the darkness. Nobody's taking anything from me again. At the present, the bank statement sits untouched on my kitchen counter, the numbers still holding steady at $42,000. Through my window, morning sunlight bathes my simplified apartment in amber warmth. The spaces Derek once dominated now breathe with fresh purpose, his favorite armchair replaced by my reading nook, his cluttered desk transformed into an organized study station. Grandma Evelyn's clock chimes 7 from its new place of honor above my fireplace. A month has passed since I changed the locks, but time feels different now. Each tick marks progress rather than loss. My morning ritual begins. Coffee brewing, schedule review, gratitude journal. Simple actions that ground me in who I am rather than who Derek wanted me to be. The therapy sessions, Denise's gentle suggestion that turned into a lifeline, taught me to recognize these small victories. My phone buzzes. Speaking of Denise. Ready for the presentation? Her voice carries more excitement than my own. Professor Grantham wants my take on financial literacy in underserved communities. The words still feel strange. When did I become an expert? Since you lived it. A pause. And survived it. 2 hours later, the campus buzzes with early summer energy as I hurry to class, my presentation notes secure in Grandma's vintage briefcase. Professor Grantham catches my eye as I settle into my usual seat, her slight nod carrying approval I'm finally learning to accept. Community empowerment requires understanding systemic barriers. A classmate drones on about statistics and demographics. My hand rises before I can stop it. Numbers matter, I hear myself say, but so do stories. Behind every statistic stands a person whose choices were limited by what they never learned about money. The words flow with unexpected authority. Financial literacy isn't just about budgets, it's about dignity. Professor Grantham leans forward. Expand on that, Monica. By the time class ends, 3 pages of notes cover my journal. Professor Grantham waves me over as others file out. You found your voice. She shuffles through the semester's assignments. Your insights about financial trauma, they're not just academic theories for you, are they? No. My fingers trace the worn leather of Grandma's briefcase. They're the reason I'm here. Stay after class tomorrow. I'd like to discuss your ideas further. 2 hours later, the women's shelter sits quiet when I arrive for my weekend shift. A new face catches my attention, silver hair, straight spine, eyes that have seen too much. The intake form says Patricia, age 63. 40, 3 years of marriage. She whispers as I pour her tea. I thought I knew how to handle money before I met him. Then suddenly I didn't know anything anymore. He made sure of that. My throat tightens. My grandmother taught me that financial independence isn't just about money. Smart woman. Patricia's hands shake slightly. What else did she teach you? For the next hour, we talk about bank accounts and boundaries, about the slow erosion of confidence and the even slower work of rebuilding it. Other women drift over, adding their stories to the growing circle. If I'd known then what I know now, one says. We could teach each other, another adds. The idea strikes like lightning. That night, I fill page after page in my journal, the words spilling out faster than I can write them. Financial literacy workshops, but not just about budgets and bank accounts, something deeper, something about worth. Denise arrives for our weekly coffee with a stack of therapy intake forms. The therapist said you're doing better than expected. Because I'm turning it into something useful. I slide my journal across the table. Read this. Her eyes widen as she flips through the pages. The Evelyn Project? Financial literacy workshops for women in transition, using my inheritance as seed money. The plan tumbles out, curriculum ideas, community partnerships, measurement metrics. This is it. Denise closes the journal carefully. This is what the money was for. Building something for myself, I quote Grandma's letter. Something no one can take away. And something that helps others keep what's theirs. Denise squeezes my hand. When do we start? Over the next few weeks, the vision takes shape. Professor Grantham connects me with nonprofit leaders. The shelter director offers space for pilot workshops. My supervisor at the community center recognizes the potential and adjusts my schedule to accommodate planning time. Each small step feels like restoration. The inheritance transforms from a number in my account to a foundation for change. Grandma's practical wisdom merges with my hard-won insights, creating something neither of us could have built alone. The project logo, a simple phoenix rising from an open book, takes shape under Denise's artistic direction. Perfect for a financial resurrection, she jokes, but the symbolism feels right. One evening, as sunset paints my apartment in shades of possibility, I stand before Grandma's clock. Its steady ticking accompanies my voice as I practice introducing the Evelyn Project to the world. Financial independence isn't just about money. I tell my reflection. It's about knowing your worth can't be calculated in dollars. It's about building something larger than yourself. The clock chimes, and I swear I hear Grandma's voice in its clear, strong notes. Build something for yourself and don't let anyone take it away. I touch the worn glass face of the clock, smiling at the memory of her teaching me to read its hands. I will, Grandma, but I'm building it for all of us. 2 months later, the whiteboard takes over my living room wall like kudzu, sprawling with workshop outlines and community connections drawn in 4 different colors. Denise stands back, marker poised at her chin, studying our master plan. My inheritance has found its purpose in neat rows of numbers along the bottom edge: seed money for supplies, venue deposits, marketing materials. Your financial expertise plus my marketing background? Denise grins. We're dangerous together. A knock at the door brings Lunchhand, our first test group. 5 women from the shelter file in, carrying the weight of their stories in hunched shoulders and darting eyes. One clutches her purse like a shield. Welcome to the Evelyn Project Pilot Workshop. My voice carries the strength of my grandmother's memory. Please, grab a sandwich and make yourselves comfortable. 2 hours later, the energy has shifted. Susan, a former accountant who lost everything to an emotionally abusive husband, shows another participant how to build a basic budget on her phone. Maria shares her system for hiding money in plain sight, a trick that let her escape with enough cash for first month's rent. The room hums with connection and quiet power. Ladies, this has been incredible. I check my watch, surprised to find we've run over. Next week we'll tackle. Monica. Denise interrupts, phone in hand. Her expression stops me cold. We need to talk. In my kitchen, she shows me the local business Facebook group. Derek's post glows with calculated concern. Warning to local entrepreneurs, watch out for questionable financial workshops targeting vulnerable women. Some people will do anything for money, even exploit trauma. Be careful who you trust with your community's well-being. The words swim before my eyes. 3 years of shared history distilled into digital venom. I can't. My throat closes. How can he? Stop. Denise's hand covers mine. This is exactly what he wants, to make you doubt yourself. The clock chimes 4 times, each note striking clarity through my panic. I hear Grandma Evelyn's voice. The best revenge is building something they can't touch. You're right. I straighten my spine. We're not stopping. The next day after the class, Professor Grantham's office hours provide the next strategic piece. She listens, gray hair caught in afternoon sunlight, then opens her leather planner. The community center board meets Thursday. I sit on it. She writes as she speaks. Your program model is exactly what we've been looking for. Official partnership would give you instant credibility. And protection from individual accusations, I realize. Precisely, she looks up. The local paper's new features editor, she's been asking about women's economic empowerment stories. Interested? Yes. The answer comes without hesitation. 3 weeks blur past. The community center's program director offers workshop space at no cost. A retired tax attorney volunteers to guest speak. My therapist suggests adding a self-worth component that resonates deeply with our pilot group. You're building an ecosystem, Professor Grantham says when I show her the grant application. This could go national. Tonight, I stand in my apartment transformed from a space of betrayal into mission control. The inheritance statement sits in my desk drawer, now bearing withdrawal notations for education and startup costs. Each dollar invested in something larger than myself. My phone buzzes. The reporter's text confirms tomorrow's interview. Behind me, the clock strikes 10, and I smile at my grandmother's photograph beside her framed letter. Yes, I answer the reporter. We're ready tomorrow at 10 a.m. The words settle into my bones with the weight of truth. Derek tried to take my reputation, my confidence, my right to grow. Instead, he gave me the final push toward my purpose. My fingers trace the familiar glass ridges of the penny jar now, our workshop demonstration piece. The copper coins catch lamplight like medals of honor, each one a lesson in dignity preserved. Watch me, Grandma, I whisper to the quiet room. I'm building something they can't take away. On the presentation day, the community center auditorium gleams under fresh fluorescent lights. My fingers smooth the program packets one final time as women filter in, their winter coats draped over arms, their faces bright with anticipation. 45 chairs curve in a welcoming semicircle, already half filled. The local newspaper reporter huddles with Denise in the corner, their heads bent over a notepad. Behind the podium, my grandmother's brooch catches the light. 3 small pearls surrounding a sapphire worn on her collar every Sunday for 40 years. Now it anchors my blazer, its weight familiar against my collarbone. 5 minutes, Denise whispers, squeezing my shoulder as she passes. Above the exit sign, the wall clock inches toward 10. Different from Grandma Evelyn's mantle clock, but just as relentless in marking moments we can't reclaim. I scan the room, taking in the faces. A silver-haired woman in the front row clutches her purse like a shield. 2 seats over, a young mother bounces a baby while scribbling notes. Behind them, decades of stories written in worry lines and sharp eyes, in shoulders squared against invisible weights. The clock strikes 10. My heels click against hardwood as I approach the podium. The room falls silent, all those eyes turning toward me. I think of Grandma Evelyn, of her quiet strength as she balanced checkbooks and paid bills and built a future from nothing but determination. Welcome to the Evelyn Project. My voice carries clear and strong, just as I practiced. Financial independence isn't just about money, it's about freedom. The words unlock something in the room. Heads nod. A few women dab at their eyes. The silver-haired woman's grip on her purse loosens just slightly. 3 months ago, I inherited $42,000 from my grandmother. I pause, letting the number settle. But that's not the most valuable thing she left me. She gave me something worth far more, the wisdom to recognize when someone values what you have more than who you are. The back door creaks. My heart stutters as Derek slips inside, his barista apron still tied around his waist. He takes a seat in the last row, his familiar half-smile nowhere in sight. For a moment, I'm back in my apartment, his voice sharp with accusations. You're not wife material, you're selfish and irresponsible. But this isn't my apartment, and I'm not that woman anymore. Money doesn't create character, I continue, my voice growing stronger. It reveals it. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. A woman in the third row wipes her eyes. 2 others exchange knowing looks. Derek shifts in his chair, his jaw tight. Today, we're going to talk about financial boundaries. I move from behind the podium, claiming the space. They're not walls to keep people out. They're foundations to build something that can never be taken from you. The next hour flows like water. We discuss red flags in financial relationships. Warning signs I'd ignored with Derek now serve as lesson points. The women share their own stories, marriages where money became control, children who drained retirement accounts, friends who turned manipulation into an art form. Take out the worksheet titled Core Values, I say, watching Derek's face as women rustle through their packets. Circle the 3 that matter most to you. Not what someone else says should matter, what matters to you. The room falls quiet except for pencils scratching paper. Derek's leg bounces, a nervous tell I once found endearing. Now it just reminds me of all the times he couldn't sit still long enough to build anything real. Some people chase money, I say into the silence. Others chase meaning. One fades fast, the other lasts. Heads lift. Eyes meet mine, bright with recognition. Even the baby has fallen silent, sensing the weight of the moment. Your worth isn't measured by who loves you, I continue, echoing Grandma Evelyn's words. It's measured by how you love yourself, your dreams, your future. The standing ovation catches me off guard. It starts with the silver-haired woman, her hands shaking but determined. Others join until the sound fills the room, drowning out the hum of fluorescent lights and the ticking of the clock. Women line up to speak with me, sharing their stories in hurried whispers. The reporter waits patiently, her notebook filled with cramped writing. Through it all, I feel Derek's presence like a shadow at the edges of my awareness. When he finally stands to leave, my eyes meet his across the crowd. His shoulders slump, the swagger gone. For a moment, he looks lost, a man who thought he was owed something, discovering too late that worth must be earned. I give him a single nod, neither forgiveness nor condemnation, just acknowledgement of a lesson learned, a price paid, a freedom earned. The door closes behind him with a soft click, almost lost in the buzz of conversation. But I hear it, the sound of a chapter ending, of a new one beginning. Denise appears at my elbow, her smile fierce with pride. Ready for the interview? I touch Grandma Evelyn's brooch, feeling its steady presence. Yes, I say, I have something to build. The bank statement on my new mahogany desk shows a balance of $412. I run my fingers over the paper, remembering another statement a year ago that changed everything. Behind me, Grandma Evelyn's clock chimes 3 times, its familiar tone filling my downtown office. A soft knock draws my attention. Come in! Denise appears in the doorway, holding up her tablet. The final numbers from last month's workshops just came in. Want to guess how many women we reached? I shake my head, smiling. Tell me. 273. Her grin matches mine, across all 3 centers, and that's not counting the waiting lists. The morning sunlight streams through my office window, catching the gold lettering on the door, the Evelyn Project. Below it, in smaller text, Financial Independence Through Education. Did you ever think, Denise asks, settling into the chair across from me, that $42,000 could touch so many lives? The money was just the seed. I touched the vintage brooch at my collar, the one Grandma wore to every important meeting. The real inheritance was knowing what to do with it. My phone buzzes with a text from the community center director. Another city wants our workshop model. I add it to the growing list of expansion possibilities, right below the notes for tomorrow's special session. Ready for the 60-plus workshop? Denise asks, reading my mind as usual. Margaret said she's bringing her whole bridge club. Almost. I open my desk drawer and pull out the stack of participant journals, each one containing the same message on the first page. Build something for yourself that no one can take away. The afternoon passes in a blur of preparation. At 5, most of the building empties, but I stay, surrounded by thank you letters from past participants. Each one tells a story of transformation. Sarah, who started her own alterations business. Patricia, back in school at 58. Jennifer, who finally left her controlling husband of 30 years. Their words fill the quiet office with invisible triumph. My fingers find Grandma's letter in my journal, the paper soft from countless readings. The words haven't changed, but their meaning grows deeper with each passing month. I remember her at her kitchen table, pencil flying across her ledger books, showing me how every penny mattered. The world runs on dollars and cents, she'd say. But a woman's worth? That's measured in stronger currency. A text from Professor Grantham lights up my phone. Brilliant job at the regional conference last week. The standing ovation was well-deserved. I close my eyes, remembering the sea of faces as I shared our story. Not just mine, but all of our every woman who ever had to choose between dignity and security. Every grandmother who scraped and saved to give her children better. Every daughter learning to stand her ground. The setting sun paints my office walls amber. On them hang 3 things: my newly framed master's degree in public administration, the local newspaper article about our program's success, and a black and white photo of Grandma Evelyn on her first day as head bookkeeper, standing straight-backed and proud. My laptop chimes with a final email confirmation of next month's scholarship program for women returning to education. 5 full rides, funded by our new foundation grant. I think of the glass jar where Grandma and I once collected pennies, and how she turned each coin into a lesson about compound interest and compound wisdom. Moving to the window, I watch the city lights blink on one by one. A year ago, I stood in my apartment wondering if I'd lost everything. Tonight, I stand in an office that bears my grandmother's name, knowing I found something far more precious than money. The clock chimes again, a gentle reminder that it's time to head home. I gather my things, straightening the stack of brochures for tomorrow's workshop. The front page shows our tagline, written in elegant script. Your worth isn't measured by your wallet. At the door, I pause. The office glows softly in the evening light, Grandma's clock keeping steady time on the wall. In the quiet, I can almost hear her voice. Some people chase money their whole lives, Monica. The smart ones? They build something that money can't buy. I smile, touching the light switch. We did it, Grandma. We built something they can't take away. The clock ticks steadily in the darkness as I lock up, its rhythm as familiar as my own heartbeat. Tomorrow, another group of women will walk through these doors, carrying their own stories of loss and hope. They'll leave with something more valuable than dollars, the knowledge that their worth isn't found in a bank statement but in the unshakable dignity of standing on their own ground. In my car, I check my final appointment for the day, dinner with James, my boyfriend of 3 months. A man who arrived in my life after I'd already built my own foundation, who looks at what I've created with admiration instead of calculation. The kind of partner Grandma would have approved of, someone who adds to your life without trying to subtract from your soul. But that's just a bonus chapter in a story that was always about something bigger. About the quiet power of one generation lifting another. About turning an inheritance of wisdom into a legacy of light. The city stretches out before me as I drive home, countless windows glowing in the dusk, behind each one, a story waiting to be rewritten. Tomorrow, we'll start another chapter, one woman at a time. Grandma was right, the truest wealth isn't counted in dollars. It's measured in lives transformed, in dignity restored, in strength passed down like a treasured family recipe, growing richer with each generation that adds its own wisdom to the mix. I touch the brooch at my collar one last time, feeling the weight of all it represents, not just memory but mission, not just inheritance but imperative. We build something for ourselves. And then we build it for each other. That's a fortune that keeps growing, long after the bank statements fade.